Kiwi.
A little something for the weekend with Sam Hunt.
Time to dip into Sam Hunt's life for about 10 minutes. G'day there, Sam.
Good afternoon, good morning, Wammo. How are you?
I'm very good.
What's
very good.
About rabbits on the moon?
Rabbit on the moon.
Yeah.
Lupus Luna. The vocals sounds strange.
I thought they sent dogs to the moon.
Well, they did they?
Did they?
Did they crash a dog into the moon?
No, I don't know. I hope not.
Are you interested in that space stuff? Did you see the Discovery touchdown for the last time?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I was going to put in an offer for it. That'd be quite a good way of travelling around.
I'm sure it'd be going for scrap at the moment, wouldn't it?
It's going for scrap. It's been around the world. It's done a few miles.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a very worthy thought. So who would I get in touch with? Trade me, I suppose.
Well, I no doubt. I reckon put it up for auction.
What's it called again? What's its name?
The Discovery, or just Discovery.
I don't want to get the name right.
Yeah. There's a few of them. There's a couple of them are burnt up, of course.
I don't want to end up with some old Russian junk somewhere.
No, but apparently it's up to the Russians to get the Americans up to the space station from now on.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll take their dogs with them. Do you know what I was going to talk about today? Raised by just a chance meeting.
Yes.
As these things often are. But I ran into a young woman who asked me, just out on the shoreline here actually, and she said, I'm just discovered, I don't know if she used the word discovered, I think she did, Thomas Hardy. Thomas Hardy, the great novelist and poet. He was born, I've checked this out, I didn't know this, I knew he was roughly around about this time, but he was born in 1840 and he died in 1928. So an old man, he was 88 when he died, well, good age. I've loved Thomas Hardy all my life, and this young lady, just meeting her reminded, Gabriella's her name, reminded me of that first sort of delight I had in reading his work. Thomas Hardy, I'll tell you a little poem I've made up, just a little four-liner, eight-liner.
Okay.
Which is about Thomas Hardy, or just explains itself. It goes like, this is part of a longer poem. It goes, dreamt I met Thomas Hardy walking a local back road. He was an old man but coped okay with his cane. He said he was looking for a woman called Lisby Brown. I said I knew her name, but only from his poem. And, so there, which gives me the chance to maybe read a few Thomas Hardy poems. I love the story behind his poetry, because he, for the first 60 years of his life, he wrote novels. You know, he wrote the great novels like Jude the Obscure and Tess of the D'Urbervilles and Return of the Native. I think Jude the Obscure, which is the one that Gabriella's reading, this young woman I'm talking about, she's reading Jude the Obscure, which is quite a heavy. Have you read that?
No.
It's a beautiful book. He's a great writer. Anyone who enjoys writing, and they don't know Thomas Hardy, if they don't know Thomas Hardy, strongly recommend it. What I was going to say, though, that what happened was that his first marriage was a pretty unsuccessful marriage. It went on for years, and they lived in bad disharmony, if you like. And then she died when he was 72, or was a bit younger, maybe in his 60s. She died, his wife died, and he remarried a much younger woman, about 38 years younger than himself. I've seen pictures of her. She was very beautiful. But he went back, he took up really sort of the death of the first wife, whom in life he had probably hated, but in death grew very tender about, which may sound a bit sorry. But I'll tell you the Lisby Brown poem there, Wammo.
Yeah.
And Kiwi FM listeners.
Brilliant.
This is quite an early one, but he was an old man when he wrote it. He was in his young man poems were in his 60s. That's when he started. His last book of poems was published when he was 87 years old. Great title, Winter Words. Yeah, but this is an earlier one. Dear Lisby Brown, where are you now, in sun and rain, or is your brow past joy, past pain, dear Lisby Brown? Sweet Lisby Brown, how you could smile, how you could sing, how archly wile and glance-giving, sweet Lisby Brown. And Lisby Brown, who else had hair, bay red as yours, or flesh so fair, bred out of doors, sweet Lisby Brown. When Lisby Brown you had just begun to be endeared by stealth to one, you disappeared, my Lisby Brown. I, Lisby Brown, so swift your life, and mine so slow. You were a wife ere I could show love, Lisby Brown. Still, Lisby Brown, you won, they said, the best of men when you were wed. Where went you then, oh Lisby Brown? Dear Lisby Brown, I should have thought girls ripen fast and coaxed and caught you ere you passed, dear Lisby Brown. But Lisby Brown, I let you slip, shaped not a sign, touched never your lip with lip of mine, lost Lisby Brown. So Lisby Brown, when on a day men speak of me, as not you'll say, and who was he? Yes, Lisby Brown.
I like that.
He's great.
It sounds like a song.
Oh, yeah. He was a total... Thomas Hardy was, I realised, reading him again, and this meeting sort of got me back to reading him. That's why I'm talking about him now, because I've sort of fallen in love with Thomas Hardy all over again. Yeah, very much the song thing.
Is it common for a poet to start so late in life?
Well, it's a pretty unusual story, actually, although there have been many great examples of poets who have produced there have been many who have never got past the menopause, and I know that myself. I know that there is a period of your life, if you've been writing poems all your life. I had a period which I describe in some sort of way, a slip it like the menopause or something like that. It's got some equivalent, and where a lot of people stop writing. There are a lot of people, not just with poems, but with music. And then it seems almost like that if you start again, if you rediscover it, or you discover another thread or another fault line, you may go on to great things. I mean, a great example in New Zealand of that was Alan Curnow. You know, and Alan Curnow's later poems, they're pretty obscure, but my God, they're beautiful. So yeah. Here's a good little one. This is a real. I mean, he had a real pessimist side to him because he was an atheist. They buried him. I mean, this is something for the old poems. They buried him in Westminster Abbey, although he was an out-and-out atheist. There's a little four-liner called Epitaph on a Pessimist. I'm Smith of Stoke, aged 60-odd. I've lived without a dame from youth time on, and would to God my dad had done the same. No, he's great delight, and I must say, one of his great poems, which I haven't got time to read this morning, but is called The Voice, and that's very much harking back to his wife and this first wife. It sounds a bit corny, you know. You live a life of hatred and upset, really, but when they die, you sort of sparked into song. You can never say what's going to spark somebody into verse. You can never say. Yeah. I'll tell you something now. Before I depart vous, I want to just say thank you to the people who sent me the New Zealand String Quartet, Atoll. I sound like an announcer. An Atoll label. It's called Notes from a Journey. It's music played by the New Zealand String Quartet. There's John Sarthis. It's a hard one to pronounce, but spelled P. It's a Greek name, isn't it? P-S-A. So like Psalm. So Sarthis, John Sarthis. Ross Harris, who's working at World, and John Sarthis is a beautiful, great composer.
Yeah.
Jack Boddy, Michael Norris, Gareth Farr, who I've worked with, Richard Nuns, and the reason they sent me a copy of it, it's a beautiful recording, all New Zealand stuff, and the title comes from a poem of mine called, and so the title of the CD is Notes from a Journey. And that's from a poem that I wrote many years ago, called Notes from a Journey to Hone Tūwhare. What have they said? They say inside here somewhere, they make some what does it say? I haven't got my glasses on. The title of the CD is drawn from Notes from a Journey for Hone, a poem by Sam Hunt, written for fellow poet Hone Tufare.
Oh, there you go.
So it's nice. Here, they got permission. But it's a lovely... so anyone who's interested in the sort of the contemporary classical...
Yeah.
Well, run out and buy a copy.
Sounds great.
I think it's the message.
Yeah, definitely.
And you have a good weekend. Let me think of a quick poem to tell you.
Yep.
This is a very quick poem. I've said before, but it's a quick poem. I just lights in the fire. A good thing quickly. When I moved onto the Kaipara here with Alf 9 years ago, we have across the water here is a point called Whiskey Point. And for years I lived near a place called Moonshine Valley.
Yeah.
So both connected with whiskey. So I'm looking at a Whiskey Point now, and I'll say a little poem called Moonshine.
And has autumn come to the Kaipara?
And beautiful. The autumn has most definitely come, and the humidity's gone away, and it is bloody marvellous.
Nice.
I love it. You feel like living, you know. You don't feel like... So anyway, here's a little poem here's a little one for the weekend. The lights from the farmhouses go out. The inlet is out. An iron shack on the shoreline floats its light on the water. A grandfather up moonshine remembers the first daughter. Dreams are easy, wild horses. So there's a little something for the weekend, Wammo.
Wonderful, Sam. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thanks, Wammo.
See ya.
That was a little something for the weekend with Sam Hunt, only on Kiwi FM.